Well, hi everybody. It's another Politics as usual. And with me today is Deborah Noble. And Deb is a candidate for a moderator. And Deb has just served 3 years on the Board of Selectmen. Well, Deb, somewhere along the way, I would think sometime around the first part of the year, you started to think about, what are you going to do now, Debbie? You had a chance to either run for re-election or maybe move into another department. And lo and behold, you chose moderator. Tell us how all that came down.
Well, it happened long before the first of
Oh,
the
okay.
year. Last summer, one of my children got very ill, and he needed a lot more of my attention than the Board of Selectmen seat would allow. It's only because I had such wonderful people in the town hall helping and supporting and being so caring and compassionate that I was able to complete my term. I did think about resigning early, but as my son reminded me, he's no quitter and neither am I. So
Good.
I finished it, and I wasn't going to run for another office, but several people in town approached me and said that Linda Denault, who has been town moderator for many, many years, was not going to be running again. I'm sure she had her reasons. We all know the town meetings have been rather contentious the last few years. And I was asked if I would consider it. And I gave it a lot of thought. I really did. And being involved in my community is very much who I am. It's a core part of my being ever since I was a Vista back in the mid-90s. And I thought, this is something I could do. I can still do this. I can still give back, and it's a wonderful opportunity to do so. So at the reception for our new town administrator, Andrew Golis, I walked across the hall, saw Karen LaCroix, said, I want to take out papers. And then in there it was done.
Good. Well, in my little career, I had the great opportunity, and I loved it. I was the town moderator up in a town not too far from here for 6 years. And they were, originally it was, they were 3-year terms, like you have here. And I ran and I ran again. But I was also one of those people who gets things done.
Yes.
And I know that one of the great things about politics, and I learned this from some friends of mine, that the longer you're in office, and amazing things happen. Every time you make a decision, you make an enemy.
Sometimes you make several.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Because in order to have a decision to be made, there's two sides of the story.
Yes.
Some over here, and you have to make the vote. Well, no matter how you vote, someone's mad at you.
Yes.
And if you make enough decisions, they're coming after you. So,
With
but anyway,
pitchforks.
I served 6 years. It was delightful. I enjoyed every minute of it, and we got a lot accomplished in the time. What helped me most was I had served 10 years on the finance committee, and I was chairman of the elementary school building committee, and we built a new school, and then I served 10 years as chairman of the finance committee, and really knew the budgets and the budgeting system. So it was a great opportunity for me, and I enjoyed it, and I was elected twice, and it was fun, and but it's an exciting night.
Yes,
And
to be sure.
And I made a lot of changes because of the way the moderator we had that I ran against and defeated. He had a way to do it, and we changed it around a lot, made a lot of changes. But for instance, I had the kids from the high school history class come, and they would have signs, and they had a big sign, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever article was on the floor, they would stand up and hold it up. So people would know what article. So if you came in, you'd know we were on Article 2.
That's very interesting, but it kind of reminds me of the rounds at a prize fight.
Oh yeah.
Where the girl walks around with the number.
Yeah, but the kids did it. And they participated. They loved it. And the history teacher was all excited, and they got a chance to work, with the town, and it was fun for them. And and they eventually just put it on an easel up front with the number. But at any event, it was exciting. And but now this year,
Yes.
we have a town meeting that's probably going to be unlike any town meeting that's ever been held.
Yes, and I'm happy to talk about that. We have a couple of changes coming up this year. pardon me. One of them, of course, is the electronic voting. That was something that was passed at last year's town meeting. We will have handheld clickers, if you will, for yes and no, and the votes will be tallied immediately. There will be no pieces of paper being held up, no individuals yelling loudly trying to out-scream the other side.
Yeah.
This will be much more professional, much faster. It will be much more expeditious. In addition to that, if it were being held inside, we would have a screen that could drop down from the stage, and then you would have the question that's being moved on that screen so that everyone could read it. It's incredibly important in this day and age that we do these things because we have the ability to. We're moving forward into, the 21st century, jumping in with 2 feet. And other towns around us, small towns too, like Charlton, are doing this. And there's no reason that we couldn't. So not only was the town clerk, Karen LaCroix, proactive in pursuing this, she actually went so far as to buy the same system that other smaller towns around us have, so that we can share resources. So let's say we think we're going to have more than 500
You
people.
can borrow.
We can borrow from another town, and they in turn can borrow
Right.
from us. Borders mean nothing. These
know,
are our neighbors, and we're going to help each other out.
Can I
So
say
I see
something?
this great.
Just to have the foresight to do that,
Yes.
okay? How smart is that? Because something you might never think about. Mm-hmm. We have a big issue coming, and one of the things that used to drive me crazy was when somebody had an issue coming, and it was Article 8, and at Article 6, somebody would get up and go to the phone out back. In those days, we had phones up and back. Now they have cell phones, and all of a sudden, I'd look up, and I'd have every grandmother, grandfather, aunt, and uncle coming in for Article 8. They'd get what they wanted, and then the minute we put Article 9 on the floor, they'd all get up and leave. Drove me crazy.
Well, part of the catalyst for this electronic voting system was the fact that over the last couple years, we've had some extraordinarily large meetings, and we've had to have some secret ballot votes.
Yep, and that's a forever vote.
It's a forever vote. We actually had a town meeting that had to be divided up into 2 separate nights.
That's right.
That's not efficient.
No.
That's not a way for a town to run.
No.
And this is a business. We have to run it efficiently
That's right.
and cost effectively.
Right.
So not only did we have to, have the expenses to have a town meeting on one night, then we had to double those expenses.
And
to
then,
have it-
and then
to
a
do
lot
it
of times
again.
when you have to go over like that, you don't get the people back.
No, you don't.
Now, we had a quorum with my town,
Mm-hmm.
and we never had a problem with getting it, but we had a quorum of 100 people.
Right.
And so you had to be real careful as that meeting
Mm-hmm.
went on. In fact, I used to send, it was up to me when I was moderator to put any article on there. So a lot of times I'd get stuff from the Board of Selectmen that they really needed to vote on. And that didn't belong. And I'd say, hey guys, this is yours. I know it's a tough vote for you, but you can't put that on and we'd clean, because we used to have 60 articles some years, and I'd
Yes.
send a lot of that, and the reason was, because if you went into a second night, you could have a case, we wouldn't have a quorum.
Right. People didn't want to come back a second night.
That's right.
So one of the ways we're going to make the town meeting a bit more user-friendly is by using this electronic voting system. And the other thing we're going to do in the age of COVID-19, we're going to be having an outdoor meeting. It's going to be in the evening on a Monday night, start at the usual time thus far, and it will be in the parking lot of the middle school. People will not sit in their cars. They will sit in chairs. They will be socially distanced. I would recommend bringing sunscreen if you need it. Definitely bring the bug spray. And we will do an outdoor town meeting. And I expect it to go well. It's been in the planning process for quite some time now.
Oh, yeah.
It's been done in conjunction with the Selectman's office, the Town Clerk's office, and of course the Board of Health, who has been
Yeah.
working nonstop since the pandemic started.
I have we all know people in the town, and I know that the Board of Health has been out straight. They've been working Fridays, Saturdays.
Yes. They have been out straight, and they have been outstanding.
Yes, they've done a great job.
It's been
Outstanding
amazing.
job, Yep.
I feel very fortunate that we have such a wonderful group of people, not
Yeah.
only our health director, Jim Philbrook,
Yeah.
but also all the individuals who serve on the Board of Health
right.
themselves. You
Yeah.
know, that's a volunteer position.
Yeah.
They don't get paid for this.
That's right.
They don't even get a stipend.
Well, I'm working on that.
So I've heard, but that's for
Yeah.
a different night.
Yeah. But it is. But the point I'm making is that the town meeting, I got frustrated recently with the town meetings,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember saying to somebody, have we reached a point in time where town meetings have reached their end, because of what's really going, some of the things that happen, some of the things, and I've
Right.
seen it happen.
Right, but if we're going to talk about, have we reached the point where town meetings have met their end, then should we also be discussing, are we at the point where civility has met its end as well?
Oh, well, I got that. You know.
So what I hope to do,
I mean, it's a great form of government.
It
It's,
is.
It's
but what I'm hoping to do is to bring that civility back, to bring that consideration for your neighbor back.
Yeah.
We are all in this together.
Yep.
And it's time for us to remember that. So we have a little less anger. We can have productive discussions.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
still keep it civil.
Yeah, everybody's got an opinion, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
But and when I was up there, I wouldn't allow them. I mean, you had to be real. I used to say to them, if somebody got up once, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But if we had what I call somebody who wants to be up more than once or two or three times, I would simply say, do you have something new and different to say? Because many times that same person gets up and says the same thing over and over and a third time. And unfortunately, it's tying up the meeting.
Yes.
The meeting's going on, and everybody's sitting there, and that's unfortunate.
It is. And when you have that, you have people that will not come back to another town meeting
Yeah.
because they don't feel like they got to participate in anything.
That's right.
It was all about this one person
Yeah.
who, for some reason, felt that he or she had the right to suck the oxygen out of the room
That's right.
and ruin what is supposed to be
That's
the
right.
very essence of democracy.
That's right. If you're opposed to something or in favor of it, say it and sit down.
Yep,
No problem. But give everybody a chance.
please.
So it's a great challenge, though.
It is a great challenge. I have a lot of experience in public speaking,
Yep.
from small community meetings to congressional briefings to even emceeing rock shows on the
Yeah.
boardwalk at Coney Island.
Good for you.
So I think that this, though, will be the apex of my public speaking career.
Good.
I'm looking forward to
No,
it.
and it's I will share this with you. For me, and I only can speak for me, it was a great, great, great experience. I enjoyed it. We got a lot accomplished, and it was fun to watch people really come and participate
Yes.
in the governing of the town.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but for the last 2 years, Anya Grondelsky, who is our student select person, has put on mock town meetings for the local middle school students.
Oh, wow.
And I have participated in both of those as well.
Good.
And it's very exciting to see that level of enthusiasm and participation.
Yeah.
So I look forward to those young people growing up
Yeah.
and participating in Charlton's town meetings when they're
Right.
voting adults.
Yeah, well, see, that's important too, because my dad and we have a program I do with another fella, and I was telling him the other day, my father served in both World Wars, and my father, the day I turned 18, he marched me down to the town hall or the city hall where I grew up. He wanted me to register to vote,
Yep.
and it used to, if you didn't vote, he used to call me. I mean, till he died, he'd call me. Don't forget, Dick, elections next Monday. I'd say, Dad, I'm on the board, and make sure you vote. He said, and he used to say to me, all you got to do is go to Arlington National and see all those crosses
Yes.
and those stars of kids who gave up their life just so you could vote.
And speaking of voting, if you don't mind me making a plug
Go.
for absentee ballots,
Yes,
we want people to vote. We want them to feel safe. We want you to feel safe and vote at the same time.
that's right.
So if you can, if you don't feel comfortable standing in line, going to the polls like we always do at the school, please know that you can always call the town clerk's office here.
That's right.
Get your absentee ballot form. You don't need a reason for it.
No,
Not this year.
Nope.
Send in your form. You can scan it. You can send it in by email. You can send it in by fax.
Yeah.
Send it in to the town clerk so you can get your absentee ballot and drop it off before the election.
That's right.
On June 13th. It is so easy to do this
Yeah.
year. I've already done mine.
because it drives me crazy when 10% of the people pick the government of the town.
Do you know, when I got elected 3 years ago, there was a total of 706 ballots cast.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. We're going to do better this year.
Yes, we are.
In spite of COVID-19, we're going to do better
Yeah, I
this
hope so.
year.
Well, Deb, I want to thank you very much for stopping by, and I'm delighted that you're running for moderator. And so we'll come up election day and see what happens.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.